Right, a lot of people have been asking for a health update, and if you're new here, on the 19th of November last year, I had surgery on my hip, which got very messed up after I had an accident within the military that forced me to leave the military. So, yeah. Alright, this is going to be take number 3, trying to do this without getting emotional, so cheers. It's a Friday evening, leave me alone, I'm allowed, I'm an adult. Right, about a month ago I actually had an appointment with my doctor/surgeon who did the operation on me, and he went through what it is they actually did. So this is the inside of what a hip looks like. Now obviously I'm not a doctor, so my explanation of this is going to be hazy at best. Between the head of your femur and the socket of your hip, there is something called a labrum. It's a soft, spongy tissue that just helps cushion the impact of your day-to-day life. The operation was originally intended to go in and fix up the labrum. Mine was damaged. When they got in, they noticed it was so beyond repair, they've had to just outright remove it. The next thing, which was hinted at in the x-rays and MRIs, but until they could visually see it, they didn't quite understand how bad it was. The head of my femur, it's meant to be like a narrow corridor with like a big ball on the end. Mine was more of brick shape, sadly. So they've literally had to carve the head of my femur into head of femur shape rather than brick. So yeah, there's been like actual bone sculpting going on inside my hip. The third one was quite weird, and they didn't realise this was actually there until they actually got in. Your hip bones are all supposed to be quite smooth and uniform and looking pretty. We've all seen those weird fake skeletons, right? It's all smooth and happy. My hip, denoted by that massive obnoxious red line, had grown a spike. I had a weaponized hip. Obviously it wasn't as pronounced and in your face as this. Massive over exaggeration, but I had a spike on my hip. So what was meant to be a simple label repair ended up being some sculpting and shaving of my hip. So, recap over. How am I doing? I mostly don't know. And, well, I do know. It's just hard to... Blah. I am no longer in anywhere near as much pain as I once was. I had spent 2.5, nearly 3 years in constant pain. Makes anyone grouchy. In case you can't tell, I'm a fair bit happier. I still don't like talking about this because I wanted to be in the military my entire life. It's the only thing I've ever actively really wanted was to join the military, and it was taken from me. So I'm still really salty and bitchy and would love to sit here and cry and complain and self-medicate some more. I would say about 90% of the pain has gone. And it's not so much that the pain has diminished by 90% and only 10% is left. It's more sort of like the pain has completely gone. I barely feel it. Some days I am aware of it. Like I can, it doesn't hurt, but you can sort of feel something's off, which is basically, according to my surgeon, just my body's way of telling me, hey, there's a certain part of you that's completely missing, which I can feel when walking. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like, it's not so much that there isn't suspension on my right side, the surgery was on my right hip, but it's not so much there isn't suspension, but you can feel that there's less suspension. I don't know how to word it. It's very weird. But then that last 10% is, on occasion, I'll just step funny. There'll be like a tiny little pebble under my foot, and it causes me to land at a weird angle or puts me at a weird angle, which... Ooh. It's like being stabbed, electrocuted and burned all at the same time in a very, very specific location. It's quite painful. As for the recovery side of things, apparently I've done it all wrong, because I think it was like the day after or like 2 days after I'd even had the surgery, I was downstairs trying to take the rubbish out, and my wife literally gave me the biggest... I've never seen her so angry. Oh my God. Yeah. And then, like, after a week, I was up and about trying to do housework, and after 2 weeks, I was back out doing shopping. is estimated to have a 6 to 9 month recovery time, and I'm on what, like month 4 now, and I've basically resumed my life as normal. And after talking to my doctor about this, he's looking at me like I'm an absolute robotic maniac. He was like, you should have been bedridden for like at least a week. The fact that you were out of bed the next day is insane. So he thinks I've rushed my recovery. He's like, I don't know whether it's just your pain threshold is nuts or your military indoctrination is basically just telling you just to get the fuck up and do something. Personally, I think it's a little bit of both. My pain threshold is weird, and my want to get up and do something is a heavy driving force throughout my entire life, which I had before joining the military, and after spending 9 years in the military, it's even worse now. But yeah, before the surgery, I could barely walk maybe a mile, I'd say. It's like 2.2 kilometers. Could barely walk that without near enough crying because of the amount of pain. Lately, I do about 5 miles every other day. That's about 8 kilometers for those that don't know miles. A lot more active, obviously. Feeling a bit happier. But one thing that I have taken upon myself is, on occasion, I'll just wake up and be like, no, not today, no, and just pull the duvet over my head, and I'll just lay there, which is also, sad to say, the reason as to why I haven't done a video in like 5 days, apart from today, where I'm suddenly now smashing out 3. So yeah, the general conclusion really is I've gone from being someone who lived my life in pain, being miserable, being a grumpy cunt, on repeat. I'm now just your average unhealthy Brit who is in occasional mild discomfort. That's like the best I've got. So it's going well. At least I think it is. My surgeon definitely thinks I've rushed my recovery. Obviously could have done things better, handled things better, but things are better. I think things are better. I hope things are better. They feel better. At this point, it's sad to say, like, only time will tell. When I was at my, random moment of memory. When I was talking to my surgeon, he showed me photos of the inside of my hip. They were so cool. They were awesome. I derailed the entire, like, medical proceeding of what he was trying to do to be like, dude, send me the photos. And it was like, I can't. It's like NHS bylaw or something. I can't send them to you. And I was like, that's cool. That's good. Send me the photos. I can't. How's your hip? Send me the photos. It was like, I mean, there is a way, but you've got to find, like, the legal loopholes. But it's honestly a ball ache. And I was like, have you met me? Send me the photos. So, yeah, I potentially will do another one of these. Hopefully, if I can get those photos. And I will share them. Because, honestly, oh, my God, they were so cool. They were so cool. We had, like, there was like 10 photos of, like, the inside of my hip. But, yeah, that's about it. To be perfectly honest. Have fun. Good luck. Don't die. It's bad for the health.